did you not want to try? Why did you take it all away?
Hi, I'm Eric. I filmed my phone and welcome to another video. Today we are re-listening to an iconic album that came out this year, which is Fetch the Bolt Cutters by Fiona Apple. I listened to this probably within a month after it came out, and I liked it. I remember really liking it, but I can't tell you what any of the songs sound like. So I decided, thinking about great albums that came out this year, I know that was one of them. And just with everything else I've been doing with Fiona Apple, and also getting a little bit of a request to revisit Fetch the Bolt Cutters, I figured, hey, let's actually listen to it. So although this is a re-listen, it will probably be more of a reaction, just because I don't remember really much of it at all. So I'm really excited to see, now that I have the context of Win the Pawn, as well as Idler Wheel. I feel like that will help prepare me for the most recent Fiona Apple release we've gotten. Anyways, let's get into it. Hi, this is Eric, actually from the future, just here to give you a quick content warning. There's references to assault and other types of violence of the domestic, intimate nature, just all that in several of the songs. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that before we went into this re-listen. Track number 1, I Want You to Love Me. Oh, distinct Fiona sound at the beginning. She always has a good way of getting percussive here. Ooh, this piano's mesmerizing. You love me. Oh, I love how she's getting raspy. That's her signature. To love me, you. Oh, we're building. We changed a little bit. Oh, I love that. Oh. I've been waiting for you to love me. Ooh, she's getting high-pitched a little bit. Okay. Getting a little bit chaotic. What is she doing? Okay. So that was I Want You to Love Me. And wow, what a way to start the album. I think I kind of vaguely remember that ending, but still very distinct, It kind of snaps you right back to where you were when you first started. I think the song is, about that desire for love, which, Fiona writes about, not being able to love herself and, trying to find that in a person, and sometimes successful, sometimes it's not successful. So, I feel like this was a very anthemic way to start off the album. Yeah. I was looking up on Genius Lyrics, and she has a whole paragraphs there, with the meaning. So I don't want to try to condense that down into 2 sentences. So I'm not going to, but I highly recommend you check that out if you're more interested in the lyrical analysis of this song in particular. I just really like it sonically, percussion always on point, as she always does. Piano is always on point, as she does. And ooh, that was just very distinct, and I got really excited to get back into this album again. Track number 2 is Shameika. Oh, shoot, we're going into hard piano again. Oh, that was a nice shift. Shameika said I had potential. Oh, I like how we alternate between this really fast piano and that Shameika said I had potential. The smile always seemed rehearsed. Who is Shameika? Oh, I like how she's chanting the lyrics. His soft, funny, and warm. She got through to me and I'll never see her again. Ooh, what ambient noise is that? So that was Shameika, and oh, I liked that song. Like, again, it has that doom, 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 like, ooh, like piano. Sorry, forgot words, only the sounds. And wow, I really enjoyed it. Like, it's still playing in my head. Shameika said I had potential, and I like that. Like, it looks, when I looked up lyrics, that Shameika was either, I'm still confused about it, whether she was like a bully or like a nice person who was telling her, like, why are you trying to sit with like these popular girls? You have like potential, like, you don't need them. So I'm not quite sure, but it definitely refers to a more experience that happened in her childhood, and it's catchy as heck. Yeah, like, don't worry about what the men are saying. Gross. And hopefully it's a woman building up another woman's story. That's the hope. Either way, it's a really fun song. Definitely can see myself listening to it regularly. Track number 3 is Fetch the Bolt Cutters, the title of the album. Ooh, love a good little percussion interlude to start us out. I like that this feels almost like a poem rather than a song. There's so much experimentation happening with like where vocal parts are going. I hadn't found my own voice yet, but now she has. She will run up that hill. Those dog and cat noises. Really is a dog right now. Oh, felt live. So that was Fetch the Bolt Cutters, the album title. Liked the song. I feel like I've listened to it a couple times before, but yet I'm still forgetful about like anything that's not the chorus. I guess not really much of it besides the chorus ends up being like catchy. It's more of like a story of like her dealing with fame and her own image as an artist that's been around for a while now. Like, she dropped an album in 2020, and she also released not even her debut album the year I was born. So she's been around a while for my perspective. And so, like, yeah, that'll probably take a toll on you. And so, yeah, I'm very pleased that we get to hear that message in the very distinct experimental way that Fiona likes to tell it. Like, I guess within the album so far, I feel like it's not as exciting as like a Shameika or an I Want You to Love Me, which is surprising because I feel like Fetch the Bolt Cutters is one I've listened to before. So like that's really interesting. But like it's nice because it means that there's so much more surprises in here for me that I'm feel like that the holidays came early this year, that kind of vibe. The dog and cat noises, very interesting, especially to have them for a while. I wonder, are those her animals? Hope so, hope they're taken care of. Like, I mean, I'm sure Fiona takes care of her pets very well. I'm just hoping that that's where the animal track came from. Because for me, it sounded like very much like dogs at like a pound or like an animal shelter. So, because of like how cacophonous it was. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. Like, yeah, very distinct song for a very distinct album. Track number 4 is Under the Table. I would beg to disagree, but begging disagrees with me. Kick me under the table all you want, I won't shut up. Period. Yeah, if you push her to go, she should be able to speak. Oh, did we just key change? Oh, I like how she brought the beginning part, but very different delivery. I won't shut up. Period. So that was Under the Table, and ooh, fully vibe to that song. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious what it's about. It's about, like, you know, being at a dinner and people being hoity-toity and pretentious and probably rude and offensive. And, you know, actually speaking your mind. And I think Fiona Apple is the perfect person to speak her mind because she has a lot to say that she should say. And, like, her partner trying to kick her under the table to stop talking, like, it's not gonna work with her. Like, she's gonna do her, and we stand that. Like, we stand a strong, independent woman who literally can tell people what she thinks and to call them out when they're doing something that deserves to be called out. Like, it's a full-on vibe because, first of all, the instrumentation's amazing, but also the lyrics, like, the whole message is big mood, and yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. Track number 5, Relay. Oh. Oh, evil is a relay sport when they pass the torch. I've sent you for getting no opposition at all. Oh, I love her inflections. This rhythm on this part, iconic. Oh, if I hate you for hating me, I'll enter the race. Oh, we kind of shifted into some faded thing. What is that thing in the background? Oh, I like how she shifted it sonically. Is she just, like, humming? I don't really know what she's saying here. So that was Relay, and oh, what a distinct song. Definitely has deep messaging. The evil is a relay sport when the one who's burned turns to pass the torch. Like, you know, that relationship between, you know, being the one who got harmed and then the person who harms. Like, you know, hurt people. And, like, definitely still goes into some political tones, like the resentment for that person. Like, definitely can get into some difficult topics that people may struggle with, relating to, like, assault or some form of, like, evil, you know, being pushed on to them and not knowing how to figure it out because oftentimes the people who are harming people don't know that they're harming people. Either that they don't know or they just don't admit it. And very stressful, very annoying, very frustrating, very infuriating. And yeah, I think I'm going to need to listen more because I have no idea what happened with, like, the last minute of it because it gets very quiet and I'm still trying to figure out if that was lyrics. But what I could make out, I really did enjoy. Track 6, Rack of His. Oh, that was a shift in like 10 seconds.
Wasn't because I was bored.
It wasn't because I was bored. Then what was the reason?
It was because I was loving you so much.
Oh, that's the reason. Love. Oh, I love how she said loving you so much. I feel like I'm getting lost in an instrumentation right now. It's really catchy. So that was Rack of His, and oh, Interesting song. I got lost mainly in instrumentation. I looked up lyrics. They're about the, you know, way that she sees, you know, men that she's been involved with interacting with her and also other women, like the line of guitars or like the women like that he's gonna burn. Like, yeah, it's not good that men are like that. Ew, men, gross. Yeah, like sonically really like the song, and lyrically I do need to listen to it more because, you know, it's a Fiona Apple record. It's not going to be my first or my second time where I figure out how everything's going down. Like, she spent like 8 years working on this album. So, you know, I think it would be a little pretentious of me or bold of me to think that in a couple listens I will understand everything. Track number 7 is Newspaper. Ooh, more barking. Ooh, you love exploring the drum kit.
We're the only ones who know.
We're the only ones who know what?
When I learned what he did, I felt close to you.
When I found out what he did, I felt close to you? Oh, shoot. Does she feel close to you how much he's hurting her? I love the distaste in her mouth when she says big show. We were cursed the moment that he kissed us. You're wearing time like a flowery crown. Ooh, her rasp is coming out here. Stan. Emphasizing the lies he's saying to make it so they'll no longer be friends. Ooh. The interludes on this song and this album, just so interesting. So that was Newspaper, and that was a vibe. Like, sonically, great. Like, really much felt that. And then, like, lyrically, I mean, it's about, you know, the shared suffering of, I'm presuming it's going to be, like, Fiona herself and then another woman who's in a relationship with Fiona's ex. Like, there's that closeness, but, like, it could also be, you know, tying it back to, like, relay the concept of, you know, someone who's hurt so many people, or just men who have hurt so many women, and like just seeing that pain in someone else's life, like, and feeling close to them as a result. But then, you know, society is women putting women against each other, like, makes it so that they'll never be friends. I see it in both that personal as well as the more societal way, that I think it works for both, and I think that's what makes it more universal. Like, I can see the song, even though I'm not a woman, like, as someone who has dealt with suffering and seeing that similar suffering with other people and feeling close to fellow sufferers, even though we might not be able to be as friendly as we would like to be. And yeah, it definitely can be like that. And yeah, I'm really glad. I really liked this song. Don't understand why it's called Newspaper. I read that it might have just been what the name of the percussion orchestra file was called, because it doesn't really have much to do with newspaper, but like, it's a vibe. Track number 8 is Ladies.
Ladies, 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 ladies.
Okay, we know what the title of the song is now. I have no idea what she's saying right now, but I'll read it in a minute.
When he leaves me, please be my guest.
When he leaves me, please be my guest.
And with a note, one line it said, I don't know if I'm coming across, but I'm really trying. She was very kind.
Ooh, I really like that story right there.
To make it a competition.
It'd be a shame to make it a competition, period. Don't put each other down. Don't make a comparison. They all got crowns. Another woman I won't get through. Oh, I love her projecting here. Period. So that was Ladies, and I personally really enjoyed that song. Like, definitely continues the similar themes from Newspaper, and also just the rest of the record about experiences that Fiona has in looking out what her exes are doing to other women. And at first I thought she was inviting all these ladies to like her house, like for a party, but it's not really about that. It's actually like, oh, be my guest, like in his life after I'm gone. Like, you can wear that dress that was previously mine. It wasn't actually mine, it was actually an ex's. Like, that dress has been in that house for a long time, apparently, which, iconic. Sonically, I also really enjoy it, and I definitely am excited to listen to it some more. Track number 9 is Heavy Balloon. Ooh, this is kind of a vibe to start out with. We play with a heavy balloon? It always falls way too soon. Ooh, rasp. I'm busting at the seams. Ooh, I really like the production here. It feels really, like, warm. This is so aggressive about strawberries, peas, and beans. Ooh, the percussion orchestra? Love it. Ooh, thanks for bringing back this percussion orchestra, even making it louder. So that was Heavy Balloon, and that was a fun one. Like, you know, it's about depression, but like, we still are having fun with it. Like, playing with a heavy balloon is a really cool metaphor that she's using to be like, yeah, you know, you try to push it up and then it just comes back down, something you constantly gotta deal with. And if that ain't mental illness, I don't know what is. Yeah, like, definitely a vibe. I also feel like it feels very similar to Fetch the Bolt Cutters, like the song itself, because like, you know, I'm sucking in so long that I'm busting at the seams. Like, it seems like she's ready to speak her mind, which I guess also goes to Under the Table. Like, she's really like, I'm fed up with it. I'm just pushing out, and I'm going to push up this heavy balloon and keep that devil at bay, though it can fall really soon. And, you know, there's that optimism and strength with it, and strength in dealing with the weaknesses and the vulnerabilities and the problems that you have in your regular life. And yeah, oh, this kind of got me sucked back into the record. Like, really enjoy it. Track number 10 is Cosmonauts. Oh, good percussion orchestra. I know she said percussion orchestra in a note, and I'm like, that's what it's called now. Be good to me before you're gone. Whew. Be good to me, it isn't a game. You're right, love isn't a game. Make light of all the heavy? Oh, playing with depression jokes. I only like the way I looked when looking through your eyes. Ooh, POV. Except for with way more gravity than when we started off. Ooh. I really love how she just like repeats similar phrases like over and over. I feel like it makes it very pronounced. Started off. Oh, she's just screaming it now. Period. So that was Cosmonauts, and oh, another fun production moment. Couple good lyrical moment, like, you know, dealing with the idea of a relationship and like how you could feel like weightless in space, but you know, if bad times come, like, it's gonna hurt a lot more if there's a breakup because of how strong that connection was. And apparently the song was written to be like a really happy song for like a movie soundtrack, which is so interesting because Fiona Apple doesn't really deal much with like happy songs that much, especially about like happiness in love. And like, wow, it's very interesting to hear that. I mean, I think the part of it being like, oh, it's gonna hurt a lot more if we break up kind of vibes, like it's gonna weigh a lot more than when we started off. Like, that feels very Fiona-esque. I can see that, you know, cynicism in there. Seems very her. And it's a vibe. It can be a vibe. And yeah, I enjoyed it very much sonically and lyrically. It's very like philosophical, very an interesting concept. And yeah, I want to dive deeper into it. Track number 11, For Her. For whom? Oh, hand claps. Gotta love them. This feels hot knife vibe-ish. This is really catchy. I'm very much grooving. That's a shift. Bringing out the percussion and then bringing it back in. Interesting. Oh my gosh. What is this song? Okay. So that was For Her, and sonically, so interesting. So much going on in that. Like, wow. That's distinct and kind of a masterpiece sonically. Like, the ingenuity of it, like, I just really think it's cool. And now I want to listen to it a bunch because, like, there's so much I probably didn't catch because of how fast it's going. You know, it's nice when Fiona gives us these parts that she repeats over and over again because then I'm like, okay, if I didn't catch it the first time, I can hear it the second or the third or the 10th time or whatever. But like, I don't think anything's repeated in this, pretty much. Like, wow, there's a lot in there. And yes, definitely, I didn't catch the part where she literally said, like, you did this to me, you assaulted me, basically. And wow, that's hard. Like, I think it's not about Fiona in particular. I think it's about someone else. But like, yeah, that's hard, like, to deal with. Like, surviving that type of incident and then having to see so many women and other people who have been assaulted not be believed, and for, you know, an abuser that's been accused, and I choose to believe women and choose survivors and believe survivors, like, in the Supreme Court. Why, if there's even a question about that, why was he appointed? And it's probably because he was appointed by a president who probably has done the exact same things. And don't condone that. Like, that's trash. And I could be much more explicit and colorful in my vocabulary on that. Like, not okay. Like, consent is key. If they're drunk, they can't offer consent. If you're in a relationship, that doesn't mean consent is implied. No. What are you doing? Keep it in your pants. Let these people live their lives and not feel abused. For its message, like, having that into a song, and then also just for how it was sonically composed, really thoroughly enjoy the song, and I'm glad that it's here. Track number 12 is Drumset. Drumset's gone? It sounds like it's here right now. Why did you take it all away? I don't believe your reasoning. Oh, this just makes me involuntarily sway. I just love the "why'd you take it all away." It feels very poignant being repeated like this. Why did you not want to try? Why did you take it all away? Period. That was Drumset, and I really jammed to that. That was such a vibe. Like the why did you not want to try? Why did you take it all away? Like, oh, good. Just really enjoyed that. And like, it's again her thinking about her past relationships, being like, why did you not want to try? And like, she's using this metaphor of like the drum set leaving with like her band leaving, but her band didn't actually leave. Like they had other things to do. They weren't like leaving her. And like, it seems like abandonment is something that she deals with a lot, based on her previous records, and like dealing with that or just jumping to the conclusion that people just hate her and everyone's mad at her, when that's not always the case. Like, definitely relatable content. And yeah, I really just vibe with it. I think it's really sweet. When I read it, that apparently at the end she's like laughs a little bit in the lyrics because like her dog comes and starts licking her. I'm like, good for her. I'm happy that she has some joy, because like I assume that Fiona is like actually in a pretty good space now, like working through like her mental health and through issues. I'm not saying that her mental health like is no longer a thought in her life, or that she's in a happily stable relationship. I think she's happily single right now, actually. And at least at the recording of this record, it seemed like, with the commentary that I was reading. But like, yeah, like I think she's actually in a pretty good place, but she channels like the energy of her emotions in past times, or you know, with politics. Like, politics was not anything to smile about these past few years. Like, so I can see why that could also, you know, take a toll. But it seems like she is enjoying herself through music, and she is having that catharsis with it, which I'm really happy that she is. Also, the fact that she recorded that all in one take shook. Now I feel super inadequate with how my music goes. Like, if she can do that all in one take, I mean, she's brilliant. She's a genius. We already knew that. Let's continue. Track number 13, last track on this album, On I Go. Oh, hello. I only move to move, period. Like, this is making me really, like, just vibe. Eyes are closed, you know. I like her change in delivery. She's really good at that. And now, I only move to move, period. So that was On I Go, and what a way to end an album. She just makes this little chant, but now I only move to move, and that feels optimism. I feel like this is a happy song, okay? You know, I said it. Fiona Apple made a happy song. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Apparently it was something that she sang when she was in prison. Cool. Yikes. About, you know, jails. Ew. But like, yeah, I think it's so interesting. Like, it's so percussive, and you know me, I'm a percussionist. Love her really expanding that and being like, yeah, I can make a whole song that's pretty percussion based, and I just love that. Like, it sounds so good, and I don't know, it's stuck in my head now. It's like, on I go, not toward or away. I'm like, oh, cool. So very much vibing in my head with it right now. So sonically, it's a good song. Lyrically, the words are just basically repeating. Like, she's like not focused on what anyone else is thinking, which is really good. Like, that's a really healthy step for her. She's like, I only move to move. I don't care what it looks like to you. I don't care, like, if it really is a big... In fact, I'm just moving to move. I'm just vibing. And honestly, let's stand that. Let's let Fiona Apple just move to move. Can we? With that said, we have finished this album, and I'm really glad I re-listened to this project. I forgot what most of it sounded like. And honestly, like, I feel like there's still so much more for me to hear from this project. And I don't think I'm saying that in the same way that it felt like with my previous Fiona Apple reactions. Like, I feel like there's just a lot here. And I think it's because there's so much in the percussion, and I am a percussionist. So I very much like focus on those percussive moments, and consequently, lyrics, like other stuff that's going on in there. Like, it gets disrupted because I'm like, oh my god, she put some really raw cymbals and shakers and drums, and I'm just like in love with it. Like, it's almost like almost stimulation, like sensory overload. Like, there's a lot, and not in a bad way. It's just that if you can get this on your first listen or your second listen without Googling any lyrics, without getting any context for it, good for you. Like, I'm impressed. And I'm sure, like, my small analysis is not a lot and not really sufficient to knowing all the songs. So please let me know if you have caught anything or you've heard anything from interviews. Like, I would love to know. I'm really happy I listened to this project. I just think I just need to keep listening to it on my own and keep listening to it, because it just seems like there's a lot to unpack. And even more so than when I've had previous Fiona reactions or previous Alanis reactions, like, just very much like, oh, there's a lot going on here and we need to think about it, if that makes sense. I can definitely see why this was a very highly rated album this year. And yeah, again, as I said in my Grammy reaction video, although I did say that Punisher is what I'm picking to win, like, I'd be so happy if Fiona Apple won something, like she should. Like, she's been out of the game for a while. Not really out of the game. Like, she's always been in it every time she does a record. But it just takes her a lot longer, and so people tend to underestimate her. And so I would love to see something happen with that. And yeah, I'm really glad that this record is here. And I'm really excited to turn off the camera and just listen to it some more. With that said, here are some of my favorites. So this is probably hecka tentative, but top tier are my standout tracks, the songs I love, the songs I'm going to keep playing over and over again. Songs in the middle tier are songs that I like. They're going to be added to my playlist. I just might not listen to them as much as the top tier. And songs at the bottom are just not really my thing. That doesn't mean they're a bad song. It doesn't mean they can't be your favorite song. They just means that it's not my favorite, probably. And that's okay. We have different opinions. It's what makes us human. All that good stuff. If you like this video, please like it. Please comment down below if you'd like me to react or listen to next. Please subscribe to my channel if you're not already and you'd like to be. And thanks for watching. This is TurtleStormer. Catch you later. It's storming turtles from out of the sky. Turtles don't need to know why.